Okay, so this is part 2 of how to remove the rear window lower bonnet trim, 3 pieces on the Ferrari 355, GTS, and Berlinetta. What I've done here is I've put some blue painter's tape on the trim, and that shows the locations of the fasteners below. So there's a total of 12 fasteners, and they are this nut washer combination. So you don't have to worry about washers. It's just a single nut that's got a freely spinning washer crimp to it. So the engine bay panels need to come off first. That's this panel here, one on the driver's side, one on the passenger, because there's a couple of locations, this corner here, that you can't access without removing the panel first. So the panel, to remove the panel, you need a 5mm Allen key, and there's 3 fasteners. One here, one where the blue tape is here, and then there's another on the far side in this location. A little hard to see from this area. So once you remove those fasteners, there's also a wire clip on this shock wire. So you can just pop that clip off, or pop the wire out of the clip. Sometimes it's easier to do when you're removing the panel, but the panel itself will you have to lift it out and under because it's tucked under the bodywork here. So once you get the panel out, I'm doing this one-handed, you pop the wire clip off and you can remove the panel. So I'll just set that down for the time being. Next, you need to reach underneath the trim to remove the 12 nuts. Now, I've got to say, if you're not a person that has patience and likes to lean over the engine bay and stretch and twist in every direction, you might want to bring a friend over. This is kind of a pain in the ass type of job, so not difficult, but it's just a pain in the neck. It took me about an hour to get these fasteners out. So the other thing is, when you're working, especially in this area, you have to be extremely careful that you don't drop one of the nuts into the engine bay, because that's right where the timing belts are. Now, if you do drop anything, you got to find it. You absolutely have to find it, and don't let it go, because if it gets in the engine, you're going to have a problem. So now all the fasteners are out. What I did also is I used just a ratchet and a couple different sockets. However, one of the difficulties in this area, if you can see this, is there's another lower piece of body trim work here, and your fastener is up above. So to get direct access with a socket is really difficult because of this trim. In the back, the trim is a little further away of the body panel, so you can get the socket closer. Between a deep well socket and a regular with an extension is very difficult to do. So what I did was I just took the shallow socket, 7mm by the way, and tapped my 6mm Allen key into the 1/4-inch drive. Some Allen keys fit right in, some were a little tight. This actually was a key that I cut down for another job as well. So this allowed me to reach in and fit underneath that body panel to get the fastener. So it's a little bit tricky, but you can do it. So if you get lucky, the fasteners will be very hand-free once you break them loose with the wrench. That particular corner on mine was very tight. I bet you I spent 15 minutes alone because I had to use the wrench on it completely. The others, once I broke them free, I could use my fingers and just get them out of the way. So I also have this fleece, or I think it's fleece or felt type blanket that I bought real cheap at Walmart. It's very, very soft. And I use this and I lay it on the paintwork, so as I'm laying over the car reaching in, I'm not hurting anything. I also work in a t-shirt and sweatpants, never jeans with belts or anything, because I don't want to risk doing anything to the paint. So now that all the fasteners are out, you need to go from the underside and push on the studs to pop the trim. Well, this trim is pretty tight, so you push with your finger, you're going to push a hole in your finger. So what I've done is just take a socket with a smaller bit and just use that to kind of push on the trim. Now that I've went around and done that, I'll go here and do that again. You just reach underneath where the studs were and give a little push, and you can see the trim piece popping up. So now that one's loose. It was very like stuck before. So I can close the bonnet and simply, I hope simply, just pull this right off. So this one, I think you have to do it with the bonnet kind of half open because there's a rubber seal in there. So again, I'm doing this one-handed while holding the camera. Not the easiest thing, but you can wiggle that and then pull it down into the engine bay. I think I can raise the bonnet back up here. Okay, so now I can slide this over and slide it out. So no big deal there. And the rear ones or the side ones, same thing. You just see these are stuck. I haven't really pushed on these. You got to pry them free. Okay. This corner is very stuck. So what I need to do is grab that ratchet again. You don't need a ratchet. You can use anything to push on other than your finger. It's just trying to push it with your finger is less than wonderful.